Yes.
Oh, there you are. Okay, I didn't hear you. All right, how you holding up?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Just waiting for
A little
stuff
bored
to get
being
back.
home.
True.
Are you been doing work from home?
I've actually been on COVID leave because of my autoimmune disease.
So you've been working with Catherine
Mhm.
on the dietary visits, and
I
you're
haven't
still thinking of
I haven't been able to do
getting your
the other stuff because of the virus.
yeah. So you're planning on getting the band removed, and you want it to be converted to a sleeve, is it?
I don't know.
Okay. You don't need to make that decision today either,
Okay.
okay? But part of what I can do is talk with you a little bit about our experience and what the literature talks about. Before the sleeve came along, the most common procedure was to convert band removal to a gastric bypass. And that was pretty, straightforward. Patients did really well. They lose a lot of weight. They didn't have any swallowing issues or heartburn or anything like could happen after a band. Patients continued to lose weight and they did well. Then the sleeve came along, and then patients started wanting the band removed to a sleeve, and most of the time they do well with it, but other times the sleeve can make existing problems worse because of the problems that the band had created, mainly from the esophagus. The esophagus, the food pipe, can get weak over time, and it dilates, and it doesn't clear very well. And now you're doing a sleeve, which is a high pressure. You're creating a stomach that's a low pressure system and making it tighter, and it may make it difficult for stuff to pass. And some patients, they may develop worsening reflux or swallowing issues, and if it doesn't get better, I have to convert those patients to a bypass. So they went through 3 different operations. So what we try to do, if the sleeve is what a person wants, we try to just do some tests. Mm-hmm. I know this whole COVID thing kind of shut down a lot of the tests, but we got to make sure, first off, that the band hasn't eroded inside your stomach. You wouldn't know that's going on. But if the band ends up inside your stomach, we can tell by doing an endoscopy. I think we got one set up with you. So that's just mainly look at your stomach and make sure everything looks good and the band is not eroded. And then that's fine. And then we also want to know with an x-ray, how does your stomach empty? How does your esophagus empty? If that looks good and you want a sleeve, then I think, we go forward with the sleeve. But if it looks abnormal, we may send you for another test, but to test your motility of your esophagus. But we won't know that until after the upper GI. So for you, where you are with your, the weight, and I just want to look at your medications and see, what would be ideal, procedure for you. You take insulin?
No.
Oh, okay.
A lot of those,
yeah, so I think
a lot of those medications I'm not taking anymore. It was when my still disease was acting up, but it's still on there. But I've been in remission.
Okay. So really it would come down to what you feel most comfortable with, as long as the tests look good. But the sleeve itself, we're only focused on the stomach. We're not doing anything to the intestines. Medications you take will absorb normal. Everything you eat and drink still goes down the normal way. We're removing that outer part of the stomach that controls our appetite and calories and all that. And so that's how you lose weight. It's a smaller stomach, but it's like the shape of a banana. It's still bigger than the gastric bypass. Gastric bypass, we don't remove anything, but what we do is separate and create a new little stomach pouch above the main part of the stomach, kind of where the band used to be. We remove the band and then create a small stomach. and then bring intestine up and connect it to that stomach so it empties and the other end down here. So we're bypassing the main part of the stomach and the upper intestinal tract. So this operation typically takes about 2 hours or so. The sleeve usually takes about an hour. To take the band off, I always tell people we don't know until we get in there what things look like, how much scar tissue due to the band is in there. Most of the time, 95 or almost 99% of the time, we're able to go forward with removing the band and doing a sleeve or bypass. But in rare cases, there's so much scar tissue. Once we get that band off, the tissue doesn't look good and it doesn't look safe to go forward with a bypass or a sleeve. We just say, today we're just taking the band. We only take the band off. And we take patients back about 3 months or more later, and that's when we do the other procedure, like a sleeve or a bypass, because it's safer then, okay? But the majority of the time, we're able to do what we plan to do. Because the risk of these operations, any operation on the stomach, is a leak. That's the most serious risk, is the leakage. It's usually less than 1%, but it can be higher in reoperative surgery, which is considered reoperative. It might be 2%, So that's something that happens usually early, within the first week or so. So that's why we have you on a liquid puree diet after the surgery, just so that we're not stressing the healing. But typically you spend the night in the hospital, go home the next day, and then the recovery is pretty quick. I mean, you get back to doing your regular activity as soon as you feel comfortable doing it. But most people feel they need to take a week or two off of work if they had to go to work. They take a week or so off. But by 2 weeks, that's when I see you either on telehealth now or in the office, just to make sure you're doing fine. Quick visit. We then let you start up on soft diet and then advance your diet after that. And then it's very important with these procedures to really follow up with the program. That's what's been shown to be the best predictor of long-term success, is that you're part of an aftercare program, that first year especially. So we usually see you about 3 months, 6 months, and a year after surgery, just to make sure you're doing well, you're losing body fat, not muscle mass, you're not developing any bad reflux, or you're not having any problems with vitamin deficiencies and all that. And it's really those patients that follow up are the ones who do the best long term. But that's really an overview of this. My computer battery's going to die, so I'm just going to plug it in.
Okay.
So I'm listening. Do you have any questions?
So you guys always go to do both surgeries on the same day? You just don't do it if it's too much damage? Or how does that go? Do you wait till you go in to make that decision, or before that decision?
No, we don't know until we're in there. There's no test or x-rays that would show what things look like on your insides, around the stomach. And so we don't know until we're actually in there. So we always get the band off. But it's rare that, in some rare cases, that it's just so socked in there. And by the time we get the band off, it is, the tissue just looks really inflamed, and it just doesn't look safe to do. So it's kind of a gain time decision,
Okay. That was my question. Do you always... I might have asked the question wrong, but is the goal to do both surgeries that day? But if not, it's because of the damage that was done and we have to come back? Or do I always plan for 2 surgeries? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, the goal, with most patients, they want to try to do everything at one time, one surgery, and I get that, and I just have to let them know that there's always a rare chance that we would only be able to do the band removal only at that time. But we'd still plan to come back 3 months or so. We wait 3 months because that's when all the scar tissue thins out and all the inflammation thins out. It's a better time to operate after the patient had an operation. Yeah.
And do you do the surgery at Bumpsy Is it still called Bumpsy? At Baylor?
Surgery can be done either at Bumpsy, downtown Dallas, Baylor, or at Baylor Frisco.
Oh,
Baylor
okay.
Frisco if patients live further north and they don't want to come down to Dallas. So those would be the two options.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very nice hospital.
It is. I go there.
Yeah. Yeah. And they didn't have all the COVID. You know, they're not managing all the COVID patients.
I know. I really don't have any other questions because I've been.
Yeah.
It was almost 10 years ago, but it seemed like the same type of process.
Right. But our team here will get you prepared. You've been doing really well with your follow-ups and your visits and all, and they would get you all prepared and whatever else is needed for the insurance approval and all. And then once that's done, we get you right on the schedule, whatever works for you, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. I really want my beard removed. It was my baby. But things happen.
We'll get that out.
Okay. It's too much. Alrighty. I don't have any more questions.
Okay. All right.